Special thank you to the patrons for sponsoring this video. I always liked Sonic the Hedgehog. Growing up, he was one of my favorite video game characters, which may have been a psyop, because as a kid I had 0 DVDs of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and a staggering 1 DVD of the old Sonic Christmas special, which I replayed about 50 times, miraculously dubbed in the Serbian language. This is all to say that as a baby, I was less than thrilled when I saw one of my favorite heroes with creepy, hyper-realistic bloody eyes and diarrhea-stained teeth. Fuck you! If you're familiar with Sonic, you probably know of his evil counterpart with a shit-eating grin, Sonic.EXE. Its mark on the internet cannot be understated, considering it's one of the first video game creepypastas that really caught on and became incredibly popular, pioneering the EXE suffix that almost every single creepy story related to a game would slap on its end following the success of Sonic.EXE. In retrospect, while the EXE basically doesn't mean anything anymore when you put it at the end of a horror story's title, the original use of it was pretty clever, as it refers to something being an executable file on your computer, meaning that when you run a program, anything can happen. From a fun blue hedgehog game starting up, to a demon from the 12th circle of hell infiltrating your PC and finding all of your Sonic feet to Rule 34. This is the first and last nice thing I will say about the original story, which, as far as I know from dipping my toes in the sphere of Sonic.EXE, is the widespread opinion. The original story is pretty dogshit. But what you might not have known is that the original creator has made several sequels and reboots, leading to some of the funniest creepypasta designs I have seen in a good while. Okay, so make no mistake, this is the original Sonic.EXE, called X. We have the main one, we have Dark.EXE, we have True.EXE, but that's not the main point. So if we go down, holy shit, there's so much here. We have X's Guardians. First off is Karai, Kito, which is just the Pope, Kyofu, so he's a Redditor. So anyway, over time, people chose to adapt this story into fangames. Lots and lots of fangames. If you want to know exactly how many, you should go outside and count the grains of sand on the planet. This number grew even more with the quote-unquote revival the character had with the Friday Night Funkin mod starring him. Today, I wanted to give these games a shot. Maybe I'm just being a hater for no reason. Who knows, maybe after today I end up becoming an EXE superfan and write several stories in which he brings me inside his game. And as always, there's a list of games in the description below, so if you'd like, please go play them before or after watching this video. Thank you! Now, before I say anything else, I am legally obligated to say that if you enjoy Sonic.EXE, first of all, that is perfectly fine, you can like whatever you want. Second of all, I am terribly sorry about that. And third of all, you will probably be mad at me for about 80% of this video. And also, if you would be so kind to subscribe, I am trying to reach 10,000 subscribers, as I've been clawing towards that goal for a good while now. If you do, it'd make my cat Goofy very happy. This game is pretty much just a recreation of the original creepypasta with barely anything different, so I won't go into too much detail. You start off with the classic Sonic menu screen, except instead of copyright Sega, it's copyright 666 because Satan's spooky. From here we see the usual suspects, Tails, Knuckles, and Dr. Robotnik, and after selecting Tails we get a different take on the usual Sonic.EXE laugh, and honestly, I prefer this one. Now, get ready for some exhilarating and incredibly spooky gameplay. Yep. This is it. All there fucking is. This is what most of these games suffer from. A lot of fucking walking. The only thing you have to look at is the occasional dead critters, and that's about it. EXE games are real pioneers when it comes to gameplay, truly reinventing the desert bus genre. Eventually you come across evil Sonic and are now in hell. Not Sonic chases you and kills Tails. Side note, I refuse to call him X or any other dumb names the 10,000 versions of this character have. I'll just call them Sonic.EXE. Anyway, after he twists Tails' head off like a soda bottle, next up on EXE's list is Knuckles, and I decided to be funny here and walk left in this level, and it leads to an Easter egg, which is kinda neat. One thing I'll give to some of these fan games is it's incredibly funny when they make Sonic a jackass. For example, the way he's taunting Knuckles here actually got a little chuckle out of me. What I don't get is why does a stab sound play after he kills Knuckles here? Because to me, I'm pretty sure he just hits him with his fists. No clue, but last up is Dr. Robotnik, being properly named unlike the previous two characters, and I think it's cause they were real people, previous victims of Sonic.EXE, because in case you weren't aware, if you die in the game,
you die in real life.
This is another incredibly long walking simulator section in which nothing happens. Although seeing Robotnik slip and fall down here is, in my opinion, even sadder than Tails crying in the first level, there's just something so pathetic about it that I can't help but feel bad for him. After several attempts of trying to get back up, I don't think the game expected me to be that stupid and the background music stopped playing. Oh my god. Nothing burger game. I guess they never thought there'd be a need to loop it. Anyway, Sonic eats Robotnik, which is something I'm sure isn't new to the Sonic fandom, and for some reason, we still see his corpse in the menu as if it was in one piece, despite being chomped up, but who cares, just don't question it. Now that all playable characters are goners and we can't do anything, it's time for the big payoff. The thing everyone has been waiting for, the hyper-realistic blood. Oh man, here we go. The entire time the game has been in this weird windowed mode, only taking up a portion of the screen, but now it's across your entire monitor, as EXE gets in front of you and writes his classic phrase. There's the blood. Yes! One jump scare later, the asshole leaves my screen broken, and the only way to get rid of it is closing the game through Task Manager, which is annoying, but also kinda cool. You get this new text file in which is just ASCII art of Sonic.EXE, also kinda neat, and that's where this first game ends. Pros and cons of this game. Pros. The new laugh is way better than the original. The way EXE taunts you during the Knuckles segment is funny, and finally, the art in the end is neat. Cons. Way too much miserable, boring, endless walking. I was so bored that the most fun part of this game was trying to climb up this slope as Robotnik. The game felt like it lasted half an hour when it's only about 10 to 15 minutes, but it could easily be 5. These segments don't provide any tension, and even someone who doesn't know what Sonic.EXE is about wouldn't feel tense during anything except maybe the first section before you encounter Sonic as Tails. Essentially, this game is just an updated recreation of the original creepypasta, so you can't really put the blame on it when it comes to the events that happen. The original Sonic.EXE is... well, it is what it is. Aside from a bloody Sonic plushie appearing behind me, this is a pretty faithful adaptation of the story. Overall, I wouldn't rag on this project too much. It's fine for what it is, being a cookie-cutter Sonic.EXE experience. This one is just a demo still, but is also one of the more popular versions of EXE, once again thanks to Friday Night Funkin'. Make no mistake, this supposedly is not the same Sonic.EXE as before. No. This one is called... Lord X. These fucking names, man, they put Shadow to shame. My god, his game is like Weenie Hut Jr. compared to this shit. After a short intro, we learn this version of EXE is British, thanks to those rotten ass teeth. And as the level starts, we learn we aren't playing as Tails. Rather, this is just a paraplegic slug disguised as Tails, because he controls about as well as a bag of rocks. Same shtick once again. We move through green hills on our way to Sonic, except this time we get greeted by him. Too bad his spooky bit failed miserably. Here the game's supposed to read the username you have set on your computer, except I never bothered to do that. So now instead of saying Ryan Gosling down here, it just says computer. Better luck next time, fuckface. Some more dead critters later, we see Sonic, everything is on fire, and Tails looks so sad here that he almost, just almost, makes me feel as bad for him as I did for Robotnik. That immediately goes away when you hear him scream though. That's just grating to listen to, tone that down. Anyway, Sonic chases you again, you better hold that right arrow, because if you're late for even a second at the start of this segment, he catches you. And every time you fail, he peeks out a bit more. This really isn't that tense at all, you need to press like 2 buttons for the entire chase. At the start you press right, and then you jump after a while to go over this hellfire that burns you alive. Thing is, at first, I didn't realize that this was any different than the ground I was running on the entire time. I mean, everything is on fire. Why would this specific pit burn you more than anything else? But again, just don't question it. Evil 3 eats Tails' tails, so I'm just gonna call him Alan from now on, because that's what it says in the bottom left. Sonic pulls a fast one on ya and doesn't kill you right away. Alan thinks he's safe, but nope, there's a big fuck off wall on the left now, and I think he ends up being another war victim. Very strange that this happened twice now. The game closes, and opening it back up again, the menu Sonic transforms into EXE and the standard Sega intro glitches, transitioning to an anti-piracy screen. You remember when those were a whole trend? I actually kinda like this part, as when you try to read the text files popping up, the game forcefully closes them, and the Sonic in the background gets angrier and angrier, eventually opening up files himself that read "I am God," marking the end of the demo. 2 things about this event that bug me is that this is somehow Tails speaking to us, telling us that his friends are gone now, how strange things are happening, but then the third file says someone bought the game, so is this still Tails? Does he know this is a game? And also when EXE says stop reading the files and play the game, I really wanted to do that, but the only way to progress is to read them, so there's that. I guess he's just a bit of an ass. Pros and cons of Sonic PC port. Cons. The movement feels awful. I don't know if it's on purpose, but even if it was, it just does not feel good to play at all. It's not like in, for example, Mario 64 B3313, where your movement is slightly off but you can still navigate fine. This just feels bad to play. I can't put my finger on it, but something about Tails' scream, not the actual voice, but the way it's implemented into the game, is very jarring and annoying. This one isn't really a pro or a con, it's more like a mid. The piracy section was cool, but could use some rewriting to get rid of the things I complained about a minute ago. Pros. I'm gonna be honest, I was expecting more from this one. I know this is a lot of people's favorite version of Sonic.EXE, there's even a song with him dancing like Michael fucking Jackson, so I was really looking forward to seeing what the hype around this character is about. Having this be the most popular game featuring him just left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. It's been a few years since this demo came out, so I don't know if another version will ever see the light of day, but if it does, I really hope it irons out its quirks. This isn't a direct retelling of the creepypasta. You can take liberties and remove the long, boring walking sections in which nothing happens. Anyway, yeah, that Michael Jackson video is pretty fun. Next game. Oh hey, didn't see you there. You caught me in a bad time. As you can see, the background behind me is a bit barren. Yeah, I ran out of budget for this part, but if you want to help fix that, you can maybe consider supporting me on Patreon or through YouTube channel memberships. For just $1 a month, you get access to behind-the-scenes footage of new videos and a very special secret channel in my Discord server where only cool people hang out. And to sweeten the deal, starting at $5 a month, you get access to all the 3D models I use in videos, which includes this little guy and yours truly. Oh, and also his evil cousin in the back over there. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking this far into the video, and let's get back into it. Ooh, this is the big one. Markiplier played this one, so you know it has to be good. Sonic the Hedgehog editable ROM, or Sonic.EXE as it's more commonly known, is a name that means practically nothing. First of all, there's no EYX file extension. But considering we're not calling him Emperor Baby Killer, I can let this one pass. Second of all, this is the first game we're looking at that has a lot more going on, with varying levels of success, but nonetheless it's more than a walking simulator, so I already appreciate it for not making me fall asleep like the other two. The game starts off with a flashing lights warning, and right away we get a glimpse of EYX. He's breathing in our ears, and the fun part about his design, from what little of it we can see right now, is that it takes the whole two eyes in one thing Sonic has and actually turns him into a cyclops. Oh, but just in case you didn't get a good look at him, the game shoves him in our face literally 5 seconds after. And then once again, just in case you blinked. The game starts and you're playing as Miles, not Tails, because calling him by his real name tells you that there's something wrong with this version of the game, in case it wasn't already apparent enough. If you ignore the foreground, which really does not look that good, this is pretty much standard Sonic gameplay. After seeing static coupled together with a CRT filter, the name of the game's window starts changing and the file is talking to you, spouting generic mumbo jumbo such as "no one can save you" and "leave" and the like. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I usually have a very strong dislike of the CRT filter. Mostly because 99% of the time it's used, it doesn't make any sense for it to even be there. In all of these games, we know from the start that they are ROM hacks. They were specifically made to be played on a computer. And this game specifically says to you at the start, play in windowed mode for the best experience. So even if you use the excuse that the original creepypasta was played on a CRT monitor, this effect still wouldn't work due to everything being in a tiny ass window. The static could only ever make sense if we are led to believe that what we are seeing here is played on a TV, which, well, it just isn't. Tangent aside, we see EYX again. He transforms into his regular Sonic disguise and runs back to the start of the level. A cute Easter egg here is that regular Sonic.EXE appears if you try going to the right, and like I said before, it makes me laugh when he's a jackass. We see a spooky version of Tails, the spooky Sonic again, and then finally the game freezes as EYX jumps at us. This would be a freaky moment, finally having a second to properly look at the design, but it kind of falls flat, considering I saw him like 10 times already. The game resets and an evil Mandela catalog looking ass Knuckles tells us the player is bad because player play horror game that makes characters die. Ray the Flying Squirrel gets killed. I don't even know what the context of this is, it's just kinda shown to us as a cutscene. Moving on, we get a breath of fresh air after a pair of eyes tells us that they'll be watching us, because this time we're in for a gameplay segment with an all-original style. New character sprites, new level sprites, and even original music, which actually sounds pretty good. In the background you can see loops and parts of different levels, Metal Sonic flying across the sky, and some of the rocks even look like faces. I actually loved the aesthetic of this place. The foreground is still a little distracting, sure, but I've grown used to it by now, and it's not as bad as it was before. Here and there some evil things happen, Sonic falls down randomly, gets chased by EYX but bigger and creepier, and then once again we get a Mandela catalog moment where the game tries to get access to your webcam. Now my camera was unplugged while I was recording this, so this is another case of PC fuckery that failed, but it's still kinda neat and not as jarring as the previous one. I think that the cases of the game doing things in the context of it being a computer program is cute. I don't actually have a problem with it, as I usually love it when games do that, but it's a bit hard to take it seriously when poor Sonic looks like this. The game goes full screen, the entire level we went through is now dark, and eventually Sonic crawls out of view and then jump scares us. This is the most I've been confused so far with one of these games, as I have absolutely zero clue about anything that's happening right now. Obviously the Cyclops, EYX Sonic, is the main bad guy, but why does everyone else also have beef with me? EYX is the one who said let's try something different. Is this a flashback or just some something that never happened and is him fucking with me. I have no idea, man. Anyway, we're back in the normal gameplay again. Metal Sonic and Robotnik jump Sonic, and a few seconds later, EYX kills Robotnik, giving us another wonderful case of a Mandela catalog face. We boot up the game again, Tails looks more fucked up than usual, and then EYX kills him again. No surprise there. At this point, I was starting to get very burned out from this game. It didn't really show me anything other than a lot of characters randomly dying, and I was so relieved knowing that I won't have to see any of this anytime soon. Jacksepticeye described Sonic.EXE perfectly 12 years ago.
I have no idea what I just played. I have no idea what that was. I have no idea why you suggested it to me. That wasn't even scary, it was just weird.
And this is exactly how I feel about this specific game. Pros and cons of Sonic Editable ROM / Sonic EYX. Pros. I actually loved the entire segment with the original level and sprites, and it's a really nice breath of fresh air to play as Sonic for once in these games. This specific design of a spooky Sonic is actually pretty cool. As I mentioned before, it plays into the actual character design choices of regular Sonic, rather than just slapping on random shit on him and calling it a day. I mean, fucking genuinely, what is this supposed to be? The game wanting to open my camera was another good bit. Like I said before, I'll give it that. Cons. We agree EYX is a neat design, yeah? Okay, good. You don't need to put him in my face 500 times before the game even starts. Imagine if in the opening crawl of the first Star Wars, every couple of seconds a PNG of Darth Vader would flash on the screen. This took me completely out of the experience from the very start. And hell, I think we're at the stage now where we can give up on starting at regular Green Hill Zone. You already told me when I started, this game isn't your run-of-the-mill Sonic game. So you don't need to start with another copy-pasted Green Hill segment, only to then switch to your original level. I could go way more into depth about this game, but my last complaint is, ditch the Mandela catalog faces. You already hit a home run with this guy, you don't need to do this, especially not with the bloody eyes. So far, this was the best one. The bar is pretty low, it might as well be buried, but there's still hope. Now this game, I was actually looking forward to playing when I saw the screenshots of it on GameJolt. But sadly, when I tried downloading it, I got like 10 different virus warnings, so I forgot about it until like a week ago when I wanted to try playing it again. And to my surprise, I actually installed it normally this time around. Anyway, this specific game is a demo resprite, remake, Resident Evil of another game. But as far as I've seen, this one is more popular, so that's the one I'm going with. Starting off, I immediately gotta say, god damn, the presentation of this game is good. Look at this fucking options menu. You get to pick between 3 different voices for EXE. What, you mean to tell me this is voice acted? And not just that, but unlike the last game, this one isn't even attempting to go with the overplayed fake out we've seen so many times already. This game embraces the fact that it's a creepypasta and it wears it with pride. The moment you start, you get this generic monologue and the sprites are really fucked up and really cool. Once again, because this game isn't shying away from what it is. Some of you are probably calling me a hypocrite because I was making fun of the Mandela catalog eyes or the cheesiness of some of the previous games, but I'll get into why I think this version pulls off the entire aesthetic way better than the previous games later on. However, while all this presentation is cool and everything, there is one crucial mishap that soils most of the demo for me. I'm going to keep it real with you. It runs like fucking dog shit. Yeah, I could not for the life of me get this game to run smoothly after the intro cutscene. I have no clue what it is. I tried playing without recording. I tried changing the voice? That actually helped some people? And I even listened to what the over 1 million subscribers YouTuber Luigi Kid said to do, and that game was still running like dog shit. I couldn't even get the game to start after a new install. I genuinely started tearing up trying to get this to work. Fuck. Please. Please let me play the spooky Sonic, please! So while I was suffering while trying to play this, having each jump I perform delay this video by an entire day, you will have the satisfaction of watching the edited footage that I sped up for you so you don't have to bear through what I did. Don't you ever say I didn't do anything for you. This is another game with original sprites. Tails looks so small and cutesy, I just want to pinch his little cheeks. I am almost sad that he's gonna get brutally murdered in several ways later. The fucked up music later is also kinda neat because it's not just Green Hill with a different pitch or some notes off. I believe you can also kinda hear a whisper in there somewhere, although I have no clue if I'm right or if I'm just starting to go insane. We see more of the same while running around. Wilted flowers, dead animals, except this time even the animals inside of robots have been killed, and after we reach EXE at the end of the level, the screen goes black. We're back at Fucked Up Hill Zone after a greeting from EXE, and then we can once again freely run around for a bit. All around us are different versions of Tails killed in multiple ways. And also, sometimes we can run into this tiny Tails, which also makes a spooky image flash on our screen. We already saw something like this in EYX, and honestly I could go without it. Once this path closes off, we can go a couple different routes, and I'll talk about the two that I experienced because I am unaware if there are currently any more. On my first playthrough, I wanted to keep going right, so after flying up and encountering another tunnel, I went through it and got what I can only assume to be a bad ending. The tunnel morphs into a mouth with eyes staring at you and fuck, even more breathing mouths all around. Sonic.EXE appears in front of Tails and god fucking damn it, he gets eaten again. We get a pretty cool death screen that shows that EXE actually ate Tails with a bunch of tiny mouths at the end of his tentacles, which, while pretty fucking gross, is also kinda cool. What this reminded me of is a game from 1992 called Waxworks, a sort of RPG and point and click game where you travel through time to kill your evil ancestors. Without going into it too much, the visuals of Waxworks dance between being sorta cartoony to going all out with the realism. And there are a lot of ways to die. And every time you do, you get a unique game over screen depicting the mostly brutal ways your character met his demise. Point is, some of these death screens resemble the one we saw here and at times almost look like genuine photos of corpses. So I am not really sure if I'm allowed to show them in this video without heavily censoring them. If you are curious, go find them yourself. Whenever another version of this game comes out, I hope to see way more stuff like this. Anyway, once you get the game over here, you start everything again. Which wouldn't be too bad if the game wasn't running so fucking slow. This time around, I saw Luigi Kid. Hi Luigi Kid. And then instead of continuing right into the evil zone, I went left, back to the start of the game. I'm pretty sure something was supposed to happen right away here when I was crossing the bridge with EXE ominously grinning, but I guess we're cool now. I don't know. Coming back to the bridge, it gets destroyed and we're in Hell Zone. Aside from everything looking like, well, hell, there's not much else to it. We see EXE making the level and then he chases us out, ending the demo. However, if you start the game again and type Genesis on the main menu screen, you get this secret extras menu with a fucked up looking Tails. You get to chat with him a bit, there's some fan art, and for some reason when I press this button nothing Oh god fucking damn, fuck you! Fuck you! Pros and cons of one last round. Pros: great sprite work, fun presentation, it skips over the whole trying to be mysterious part when literally everyone knows this is an EXE game, might as well embrace it fully. Hell, even the original laugh is there. I'm still kinda over everything taking place in goddamn Green Hill Zone, but at this point complaining about it is like complaining that the sky is blue or that you have to ignore the man in the hallway every time you want to leave your house. Oh, and whenever you pause, there's a half-transparent face of Sonic.EXE looking at you. Also kinda neat. Overall, I like this more eldritch horror approach, definitely more unique than the original, just having red eyes and blood coming out of them. Cons: fix the optimization, I am begging you. But at the same time, go fuck yourself. Sonic.EXE but funny. I literally can't play this with audio or I'll get copy strikes up both my ass and my urethra. Next game. This is also one I've heard very good things about, partly because it's not really a Sonic.EXE game, just a spooky and weird Sonic game, and call me a pretentious snob all you want, but I prefer me some more mysterious horror rather than British horror. Ignore me being a dumbass and starting with what's supposed to be, at the time of making this video, the fourth and final part of the game. The start of Green Mountain is, well, it's Green Mountain. I think it's pretty apparent why this is not your average Sonic.EXE game. From the lack of menu, the colors, and the really weird background music. All of this is just odd. Nothing much to even do here either. All you can do is go up the trail. One slip up and you have to start all over again. Wait, what the hell do you mean there's fall damage? After a few leaps of fate, we reach the top and see yet another messed up looking Sonic. This one with a hole in his face, and maybe even his tummy. I can't really tell, cause pretty much all the parts of Sonic that are usually tan are black with this guy. People decided to call this guy End, which, I mean, it's better than most, but I still feel kinda weird about it. We basically fight to the death. Except I'm not even sure if you can lose here. After you wallop him, it starts running away from you, trying to escape the screen, but it's contained by the border. Damaging it again causes it to play the default Sonic death animation, except it just melts away into a puddle. There's nothing else to do here after this, but if you wait long enough, our Sonic will transform into the one we just beat, supposedly continuing the cycle. This is where the original Green Mountain ends, but over time the story would be updated with new files you could download and play through, and at this point in time, there's 3 additional levels you can play. Messed up versions of Marble, Spring, and Labyrinth zones are all here, and pretty much all of them are equally confusing. To be brief, because honestly I think Green Mountain deserves an entire video to itself in order to cover everything there is surrounding it, in Marble Zone, at the end you see a weird, shadowy, spooky Sonic running in front of you, and as far as I know, there's not much else to do in this level. Spring Yard is the first stage where you have some more freedom to explore and commit several crimes by murdering badniks in front of their houses. I'm sure there's some symbolism with that. And for those of you with OCD that need to explore every nook and cranny, if you build enough momentum on a ramp at the start of the level and follow the path on the left, you'll see whatever this is. I assume it's End. The colors kinda match with it, but that's about it really. Either way, it's a neat find. The ending is cryptic once again, and this time I don't even have a clue what it could mean, other than the ambulance we hear might be coming for someone we killed? Maybe? I have no clue. The level I accidentally started with is the last one. Being yet another separate file and staying true to the original stage, this is indeed a labyrinth. I don't actually have a lot to say here. When I played, this place was pretty barren aside from these spikes. Eventually, you find a pit that leads to this scene, and if you wait long enough, once again, something spooky happens. This is currently where Green Mountain ends, and while you can use the Jacksepticeye clip here again, the real fun is delving into the game files with Game Maker Studio, which, if you're familiar with this game, I'm pretty sure you heard like 20 other YouTubers say that yes, this is in fact the same engine Undertale was made in. In the files, you can get actual, albeit very vague, parts of the story, and I'll just read through what can be found in the first game, as once again this isn't really a deep dive. Have you talked to her? Not really. I don't want to talk. Why not? I'm exhausted as it is. Yeah. Speaking of, how far is it? We've been trekking up this route for Green Mountain is not far. Couldn't you do it now? No. Okay. You will get there sooner than later. We are here. I'll set the stuff at the clearing. Did you bring the shovel? It's in the pack. We left it in the car. Why? Do you already need to go? No, but I needed to mark something. Keep in mind that the text in the files is all jumbled up, and this is my interpretation of the order they go in. I may be completely wrong about it. Inside the files, there is another oddity in the shape of an image. Returnal. This is what that image looks like. This is why I really like Green Mountain. This image barely resembles anything. It's akin to one of those pictures you may have seen floating around online where you're not really able to discern anything in it. This could be a fucked up looking Sonic. It could be a screaming face. It could even be a full-on regular corpse. We don't know. This image, along with the entire game, is a mystery, and that's why I like it. As a game, sure, it's barely anything different in comparison to the previous ones we've seen. Hell, you might even call it the worst one. But as an entire experience, it's great, and it's probably my favorite game we've seen today. And hell, maybe when more stuff comes out, I'll even cover it fully. But until then, I had fun with it. Also, goddamn, I guess this guy really is called Ant, huh? Oh, pros and cons. Pros. I like it. Cons. The fall damage was nasty, and that was uncalled for. So, at the end of the day, did my opinion on Sonic.EXE change? Kinda, but not really. There's some really cool and high-effort stuff out there, sure, but overall, I'd say most of it isn't for me. I liked seeing different people's takes on a very shitty old creepypasta, and sure, I had fun with some of the games, but I can't really say I'm on the edge of my seat expecting new updates. Once again though, if you like Sonic.EXE, perfectly fine. I know I made fun of some stuff, but at the end of the day, trust me, there's so many worse things out there. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, consider liking and subscribing, and if you didn't like it, feel free to dislike. Follow me on social media, there's a link to my Discord server in the description below, and a special thank you to all my Patreon and channel members. And that's about it. Bye bye.